Hello, I'm Martin.Fencka and welcome to the first part of Let's Play Thea the Awakening Return of the Giants. Thea the Awakening is a game made by Muha Games and it's a survival strategy game with RPG elements, and also part of it is like a card game because all the combat in this game is in the form of like card minigame. And this may sound a bit unusual, but once you get to the game, you'll see that it works perfectly. And I have to say that this card game is actually one of my favorite parts of the game. Because this is the first part of the Let's Play, I'll talk a bit about like the story of the game, what we are trying to achieve, who are we gonna play as, and also try to introduce the basic mechanics of the game. Though because I'm definitely not an expert on Thea. I still consider myself a beginner, to be honest. Not gonna go too much in depth. I am not sure with some things still, so I don't want to explain something wrong, but at least the basics I think I should be able to cover. So even if you don't know the game, see it for the first time, you should be able to understand what I'm trying to do. First thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna start a new profile because I want to show guys how the game looks when you start it for the first time. So let's change profile, create a new one, and let's call it something easy. Let's place something simple. Confirm and select. Maybe before I click on a new game, I should talk about the story a little bit. It will make it easier to explain the next screen. So in Thea, like 100 years ago, something happened, and this something caused the pillars of the world to burn. It destroyed the barriers in between astral planes, and as a result, the gods lost their power. The dead can't go on into the underworld, and basically an age of darkness started. After like 100 years, Thea is starting to wake up from this age of darkness, and with it also its gods, and we're gonna place one of these gods who is just waking up, and we just got first few followers. And what we're gonna try to like help our followers to rebuild their community. We're gonna try to get more followers, and also as we get stronger we also try to investigate what actually happened, what started this age of darkness, and what we can do to prevent it from happening again. This is like the basics of the story. And the important part is that we are playing as a god, because when we click on a new game, we can see a list of gods that are available in the game. Every time you create a new profile and click on a new game, you will get two of the gods unlocked randomly, except the Lada and Perun. Those are a bit special, and they can be only unlocked by playing the game. But one of these six, I mean two of these six, will be unlocked randomly. In our case, we have Veles and Horus. I haven't played with either of these two yet, so this is gonna be interesting. Uh, each of these gods has some different abilities, and maybe what I should start with is the god himself is not like an avatar in the game. It's just like a higher being who is providing some bonuses to the villagers. So the people that are going to be on the map are the villagers, and we are helping them. Uh, and our gods can have or can level up, and the higher level our god is, the more bonuses he provides. So the more you play with the god, basically the easier it becomes, and the higher you can set the difficulty. We are of course starting with level 1, and each god helms its followers with different things. There are gods more focused on war. There is a god that is like focused on diplomacy, kind of, and then there are gods that help with crafting or gathering. And basically, the higher level you get, the more specialized the god becomes. On the first level, the bonuses are not that super crazy interesting. For Valence, it's the path of wisdom. Your villagers are committed to wisdom, and so they research faster. Which is not bad, but well, it's not much. And for Horus, who's like god of night and moon. We have night crawlers, so during night turns, all your villagers get +1 bonus to damage and range damage, so it helps us fight during the night. Um, hmm. I'm not quite sure what to play with, to be honest. I'm gonna look on the level 2 bonus. Maybe that's gonna help us to decide. Strong-willed. Your villagers get a +2 bonus to armor during challenges versus disease, curse, and intellect. And here we have Shadow Dwellers. All your villagers get a +2 bonus to stealth. As I said, I have not played with either of these two guys. The faster research looks pretty good, but extra damage during night and later the stealth sound good as well. I don't like the strong will too much. You don't get these challenges, the disease curse and intellect that often. They can be very annoying when they pop up, but they don't show up too often. But the faster research is really quite strong. Now let's go with Veles. So now when we have our god, we have to choose the focus of our village. We have three options. Our people can be warriors, gatherers, and craftsmen. This basically decides what the composition of the first group is gonna be. With warriors, we're gonna be more focused on combat. We're gonna have more people with the actual warrior class. Gatherers are gonna be it's gonna be easier for us to get resources, and for craftsmen, it's gonna be easier to make new items. I think I'll go with gatherers because as gatherers we start with one hunter, and that class helps a lot early. And gatherers, that's what I usually play with. So for the first let's play, let's go something with something that I know. We are starting with a god that is unknown to me, so let's at least take a focus that I know. And before we start the game, we have to check the difficulty. Here are some important choices, and I've already set the difficulty to what I want it to be. So we're starting with the world size. So I set this to normal. I don't want the world to be too large, because with the large world what can happen is that for example, an important resource can be like on the other side of the world and it's very hard to get to it, and when that resource is like crucial to what you're planning, you are screwed and you are slowed down a lot. So I want to prevent that from happening, at least for the first let's play. Later we can maybe try large worlds. So again, with normal word progression, how to explain this? Basically, when we start, all the fights and all the challenges are relatively simple, but as we play, they are becoming tougher and tougher, and this choice basically decides how fast are these tougher challenges showing up. So the fastest is through Thea, and this doesn't really give us too much time to prepare for anything. So I was thinking let's lower it a little bit in case we don't have ideal start. We can still do at least something about it. And what I'm basically trying to do with all these settings is I want to have a game where we have a good chance of finishing the game, but it's not obvious that we're gonna win right from the start. So I try to balance this, don't make the game too easy. Hopefully I made the right choices. As I said, I'm not too experienced with the game, so in some cases these are just more like guesses what should work, but we'll see. Next we have economy. I'm always playing with insane in all my games that I tried, and it doesn't seem that insane. It's not like making the game easier, of course, but I think we can handle it. Then challenges difficulty. This basically means how many mobs there will be in each group that we're gonna like encounter on the map. Then we have enemy aggressiveness, how likely it is that the enemies are gonna attack by themselves. When we or if we set it to furious, basically during every night we would have to defend our village like constantly. With high, it's not that bad. So this gives us like more freedom that we can send some of our people out and we don't have to worry about the village too much. It's still risky, but it's not as crazy as on Furious. Then starting villagers, this is the amount of people that we are starting with. It's between 10 and 7. With 7 people, It's quite risky because it's telling people if you lose someone early, you basically can restart the game with starting with like 6 people. After you lost someone, it's almost impossible. So I go with 9. Then we have reshuffles. If you remember, I was talking about the card minigame. That's how the combat is done in the game. And with every card game, basically, you have a deck of cards. And when you start it, you draw an opening hand. And this gives us an option to like reshuffle the opening hand. If we choose to go with reshuffles, we either can have it free, or we can pay for a reshuffle with, I think, resources, or no reshuffles at all. I've never been playing with reshuffles, so I'll just go with what I'm used to. This sometimes makes it really hard when you are dealt wrong cards, but well, at least some challenge. Then we are playing an Iron Man without save, so we only have one save file, and always when we exit the game, it gets saved. So, yeah, as I said, an Iron Man. Realism, this means how many buildings of each type we can build, and basically how many resources we can gather every turn. I'll talk a bit more about this when we get to the game. And group limits, that basically means how many cards we can, or how many active cards we can have at a time during the combat, during the card game. So the lowest is 12. That's just quite hard. It's possible to play with that, but it's hard. So I was thinking, let's go with 16 for the first Let's Play. But this is probably gonna be the first option that I'm gonna tinker with for maybe future Let's Plays and set it to 12. As I said, for the first one, we go with 16. And this gives us final score multiplier of 220%. What does that mean? Basically, with every action that we make in the game, we get some points. These points are like experience for our god. And when we finish the game, and by finish the game, I don't mean we don't have to finish it successfully. When the game ends in some way, these experience are added to the total amount, and when we get, to a certain amount that's required for a level up, we get to the next level. With the multiplier, that's the multiplier applied to this number that we get in the end of the game. So now when we finish the game, the score is going to be multiplied by 2.2. I think I covered everything that is important on the screen. So I think we can now start the game, and while it's going to be loading up, we can read a bit about our god. So let's do that. Veles, the keeper of the underworld, master of mystical powers and guardian souls. That was your name before the great darkness. Now you are simple Veles, a lost god trying to reclaim his might. The gates to the afterlife are slammed shut. Souls of the dead roam Thea and wreak havoc amongst the living. All you can do for now is continue to guide your ragged group of followers towards survival.
Thea is awakened. Welcome. No time to waste. You are a deity of the High Pantheon, and you must help your worshippers survive the darkness. So what now, you ask? You are divine, yes, but you have little power, and so you will know the world through your people's eyes. This means sometimes you will encounter your own divine messengers, and maybe even face your own avatars. Weird, I know. Your first mission is to survive. Every critter is trying to make sure you stay down. So get food and craft better equipment to protect yourselves. You will guide your people to victory, either by sheer survival and progress, or by solving the cosmic tree's mystery.
Okay, we'll see this pop up quite a few times. The game is kind of introducing itself, and it also works, at least from early in the game, as kind of a tutorial. I'm gonna skip it. Excuse me. But always when this guy shows up, I'm gonna let him talk, because it's probably easier to let the game introduce some things than if I was trying to do that. You're gonna skip the tutorial, but when I hit this option, he will still talk again and give us our first quest, so I'm not gonna interrupt him.
All right. Now are you absolutely sure? There is no calling me back, you know. Also, when you have time, craft me 10 cooked, baked, or roasted food, any type. You may want to research some varieties as well to match your supplies. Also, leave these 10 crafted foods in the village until I show up. Remember to check the magical help button to read more. Yeah, I know more about any mechanics.
Okay, so we have our first quest, craft some basic food. Now we can leave the tutorial, and here we are. This is how the world map looks like, and we'll see these pop-ups also here and there because we have started a new profile, so the game is trying to guide us a bit. I'm not sure if it's possible to turn this off somewhere. I didn't find the option yet, so I'm just gonna close it every time it pops up. And what can we see? Here is our village. This is our first expedition. We are gonna redo the expedition manually. This is like first interesting object on the map, but we'll get to that later. First thing that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna send these people to the village. I'll have them join the village. And basically, actually, let's talk first about our people, then I'll talk about resources. I have to do this in the right order, otherwise it will be a mess. There's quite a few things that I should talk about. So, here we are. Here, what's the best screen? Let's go with this screen. This is our starting group of people. Every character in the game has its class. We can see we have a hunter, we have 2 warriors, we have 4 gatherers, and we have 2 crafters. The class basically decides what like the main focus of each character is gonna be, what are his like main abilities gonna be. When we click on a character, let's do it with a gatherer probably, you can see that we have quite a few stats, and as I said, these are largely or heavily affected by the class that we are. So when we have a gatherer, this is a gatherer, we can expect that the gathering skill is gonna be quite high. Um, but every class can have like almost all skills, or maybe even all skills that are in the game. It's just like the main focus is different, and always the skills that fit the best to the class can be expected to be higher than the others. So we have high gathering as a gatherer. What else? Like the secondary focus of gatherers is probably combat, so you can see that we have some armor, we have some damage, quite a decent strength, uh, some speech also. Uh, and when we look on someone else, on a warrior for example, you can see that the combat stats are significantly higher. Armor, shielding, damage, everything is higher, strength as well. But as I said, every class can have like all the stats, and also there is nothing in this game that would like limit the equipment each class can carry. In some games you have like predefined that, for example, I don't know, a healer can't wear plate armor. There is nothing like this in this game. All you are limited with are basically these stats and how high you can get them. For the gear, what's important is your strength. The higher your strength, the more you can carry. You can see here how much you can carry and how much we are carrying right now. So if you, for example, have a healer with high strength, you can give him like full plate armor 200x and it works perfectly fine. So I think this is all about our people for now. We'll get to some things later, but for now it should be all that matters. And let's get back to the world map, and I'll quickly show this screen which shows the resources on the map. We can gather resources in the village, also in the world, but for that we need to create expedition. But in the village we can gather resources that are either on the tile where our village is, or on tiles that are right next to it. In this case, it's vegetables that we have basically inside the village, and wood that is right next to it. When we get into the village, to the production screen, we can see the resources here. Now this game is basically about gathering resources, crafting more stuff, crafting better gear. By crafting, every time you craft an item, you get a certain amount of research points. So by crafting, we are researching new stuff that allows us to craft more. For that, we have to gather more resources, etc., etc. We get better gear, we can kill stronger enemies, and you know where I'm going with this. So the uh, or where all of this starts is with gathering. And how that works, it's really quite simple. Each resource has some, let's say, difficulty, how hard it is to gather it. That is this number, 70. So that's how many points we have to get one stack of the resource. The size of the stack is shown here. So every time we get 70 points, we get 6 wood. For vegetable, every time we get 70 points, we have 11 vegetables. How do we gather? Uh, we just take a villager and assign him or her to a task just by moving him into this window. And we have these large windows and these small windows for helpers. uh, Whoever is in the large window adds 10 times the points of his or her gathering skill. For gathering, we are working with the gathering skill. When we are crafting, there is the same window. We just working with the crafting skill. Same with construction. So it's really quite simple. uh, Bolamira has gathering 6, so when she's in the first window, she gives us 60 points every turn, which is not quite enough to get 6 wood every turn. But when you don't have enough to get the resource in one turn, you can see that here is shown how long it will take to get the stack. We could add more people as helpers. That would give us enough to get the wood every turn, but helpers only add half of their gathering skill. So you can see we have 60, gathering skill 5, so she's gonna add 25, and from 60 we get to 85, so it works. It's not necessary uh, to get the wood every turn. So I actually now have to think about what we exactly need. How do we want to start? And for that, I'm gonna check some more of these screens. We're gonna start with probably with hmm, maybe it's crafting. What I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to decide who is gonna stay in the village and who is gonna be in the expedition that's gonna get out of the village, explore the world. We need to have someone in the village, but I don't want to have too many people in the village. I want to have the expedition as strong as possible. And who's gonna stay in the village, that's gonna be decided by what our starting materials are, or starting resources are. I definitely want to have one crafter in the village. And for now we can craft 4 different types of things. We can craft clothes, food, crafting tools, which are gonna improve our crafting skill or boost our crafting skill. And there's an option for gathering tools, but we can see that we don't have enough resources for any gathering tool. We could probably start with crafting tools and check what we can work with. So we can see, or how does crafting work? You always need a primary material combined with a secondary material and then a catalyst. So when we mouse over a resource, we can see where we can move it. So the wood can be either secondary material or a catalyst. For example, steel can be only primary material. And like the quality of the final product is recognized by the quality of the materials used. Um, this is like a general metal, so we can go from iron all the way to like a mithril, and the higher quality material we use, the higher quality final product we can expect. For now, we have only steel, so we have to use that, and then we can work with what? With wood. Let's use dark wood and the normal wood as a catalyst, which is gonna give us hammer +3. So this hammer, when we finish it and equip it, will increase our crafting skill by 3. It would be nice to get more if possible. And when we use Dryad wood as the secondary material, which is higher quality than the dark wood, you can see that this would give us hammer of crafting +4, which is what I want. So let's start with this thing. And now we have to assign a crafter to do the task. So Utrovoy has the highest crafting skill, so let's assign him. So that's the crafter who's gonna stay in the village. So that's one person decided. Now we definitely need. Actually, let me check supplies. What do we have here? We have enough food. We don't have that much wood though, and I don't want to burn these rare woods. Basically, what our village needs for every turn is some fuel and some food. It's the same for our expedition. Our people, wherever they are, they need food and they need fuel. Uh, you can use quite a few things as fuel, but usually it's a waste to burn like higher quality wood or other things. You are using normal wood most of the time. So what I did, I told our people, you are not burning these things, and I probably should tell them that you can eat the only food that we have. So our first problem is, where do we get more wood? Hmm. Okay, we could solve this by going to the equipment screen. Just bear with me for a second. I uh, will get to it once I unequip all of this stuff. Because what we can do in this game, we can uh, not only craft items, but when something is crafted and we don't want it anymore, we can just dismantle it and get at least part of the resources that we used to make it back. And I'm thinking that we could get some wood from some of these weapons that we are starting with, because for example these training swords are total garbage. Maybe we could get some wood from those. Um, but no matter what we do, we are gonna have to gather some wood anyway. So we need one crafter to stay in the village. And our most skilled gatherer is Bolamira, so let's use her. Uh, Bogodara is not a gatherer; she is a hunter, and I definitely want to have her in the expedition. And I'll probably leave one more gatherer in the village, at least for now. Start is not ideal. I'm not sure that we're gonna have enough equipment for 7 people in the expedition. So let's just go with 6. I'm gonna decide on that immediately. Let's just make sure that we get some wood immediately. And now when we know who's gonna stay in the village, we can create new expedition. So everyone who is not staying is going with us. And you're going as well, so we have 6 people in the expedition, and now we have to give them some gear, which is gonna be a problem because this is quite crap, I have to say. Okay, we start with our hunter. She's gonna have the only ranged weapon that we have. And now when we are here, maybe I should talk a bit about weapons in Thea. There are 4 basic melee weapons types: swords, maces, spears, and axes. And each weapon has some specifics. When you look on swords, no matter if it's one-handed or two-handed sword, it not only gives us damage, you can see that on the bottom of the screen. When you look on properties, it gives us 4 damage, but it also gives us 5 shielding. So sword not only gives you damage, but also some extra defense. You can see that it's the same for a two-handed sword: more damage, even a little bit more shielding. Maces, they maybe don't give that much damage, but they have special ability that as the only weapon, they can like trample. They can kill more than, or they can kill up to 2 enemies per turn if the damage is high enough. You'll get that during combat. It will be more obvious how that works. Then we have spears. They have like piercing damage, which means when a card with a piercing weapon is summoned, it does half of its damage immediately. So from spears, it's possible to actually kill something uh, before combat phase even starts. And then we have axes. Actually, we don't have axes, but axes are the only weapon type that don't have a special ability, but it's compensated by their damage. Axes in this game have the highest base damage. Now, what do we want to do? I'm thinking at giving the two-handed swords. You can see if it's one-handed or two-handed here by those hands, one or two. Thinking about giving these two-handed swords to our warriors, because warrior specialty in this game is that they can use a two-handed sword and the shield at the same time. But because we don't have that many items, that would leave our other people basically without any defense. So I'll have to make some compromise. Okay, you know what? Let's give you this, what is it? Studded staff, a piercing weapon, and together with that, you will have our only armor. It's pretty bad, increasing our armor by only 4, and on top of that, it's a bad quality. So the stats of these items are even less than what they should usually be. But well, 4 is still better than nothing. And what else? Let's give you our only jewelry piece. This gives us Feint and Folklore. There are quite a few different stats in the game, and some of them are uh, not that easy to understand, so I'm not gonna talk about them immediately. Maybe when we get to a point where we're gonna need them, we can read something about them, but for now, it's really not important what Feint or Folklore actually is. Um, but it's still better to have it equipped. Now we get to our warriors. They'll get both two-handed sword, but I'll save the shield or both shields for our crafters, so they can get some defense with that. And how many people do we have? 3. We have only 2 shields. How much can you carry? 200. How much are these two things together? Okay, let's give you a mace and a shield. Now, you can carry even more. Maybe I should give you the heavier shield. It probably makes more sense. And together with that, you're gonna have a sword. He's gonna have a really nice defense. And for you, the best thing that we can give you is probably the one-handed sword without the shield. It's still at least some defense from the sword, and we're gonna have to get some better gear as fast as possible. So this leaves us with basically 3 wooden weapons, and we can dismantle these weapons for some wood. But we're gonna do that in a second. First we have to finish creating the expedition. So let's move on, and as I said, every village or expedition needs food and fuel. So we're gonna start with the food. We won't be out for that long, so let's say we can do this with like 40 food. And for now, we're not gonna grab any wood. As I said, I don't want to burn this rare wood. So let's create the expedition. Yeah, now it's telling me that we don't have fuel, but I know that. Give me a second. We're gonna have some wood like in a minute. Now we can dismantle these training swords. You can see that we are getting some wood from that. We already have 4, and we can also dismantle the staff for some more wood even. So suddenly we have 9 wood, which is enough for a few days for both the expedition and the village. So this is our expedition, this is our village. So let's give some wood to the expedition. Let's say, can give them more. Can give them, I don't know, 7, because in the village we're gonna gather some wood immediately. So now we have our expedition, which is here. We can move 1 tile away, probably we have all that we need. Not sure that I want to go immediately after these ruins. Could be quite risky. Let's probably go the other way. Check what's on the other side. And now back to the village. Here we're gonna get some more wood immediately. Once we have the first stack of wood, I'm gonna move one of our gatherers to gather some vegetables as well. We are crafting, so that's fine. We don't have any equipment left or any gear left, so people who are in the village won't have anything for now. Okay, so I think this is all that we can do in the village. And maybe this is all I want to do in this video. We're gonna start really playing in the next part. Maybe before I finish, I forget to say that in this game you can have only one village. So you won't be founding more towns or anything. We just have this as a base of operation, and from here we're gonna be sending our expedition to the world to find more resources, to gather more resources. They'll go after quests and all the stuff that can be done in the world. Um, and the second thing I can have a look at before we end this part is research, just to show you guys what are we going to work with, how many things we can research. So there are like 3 branches of research: gathering, these are resources that are in the game. We know 2 for these 6, and everything around is what we can research. We can always see like one step ahead. So when we, for example, have iron research, we can see that the next step from iron can be either steel, gold, or for 2 research points, silver. But we can't see what's this. It's a mithril. Oh, actually, this doesn't make sense. I'm not sure if this was like this every time or not. If it's a bug, we shouldn't be able to even see the name. When there is a question mark, why can we mouse over it and see what's it gonna be? So we technically like can see what's behind like silver, and you can see that quite a few resources that we have around, that we have crafting. So for now, all we can craft is cooked meals, and we can craft all kinds of weapons, armor, jewelry, also ranged weapons. This is like starting with light armors. Here we go to shields, medium armors, heavy armors. All the weapons can be as one-handers or two-handers. And then construction, we can build buildings in our village. We are starting with the pasture. We don't have the pasture built, but we have it researched, and this is one of the high priorities, that we have to build pasture. And then we also want to build a cabbage field, because this is like the basic way of how to attract more people to our village. Once we get these things, once we try to build them, I'll show you how it works. I'm probably not gonna invest this point into anything yet. I'm gonna think about which way we want to go, what are we gonna focus on, and I can do that off camera, and I will let you know what I decided for from the start of the next part. And in the next part, we're gonna explore the world a bit more, probably get to the first fight. So we're gonna explain how that works, and then we just keep playing. Probably try to focus on the main quest a bit more and see how far we are gonna get. And I hope you like this part. Join me for the next one again. And until then, have a good time. Bye bye.